Here we are on a Tuesday night, our members meeting. Thank you everyone for being here. It's lovely to see you all. I'm Kelly Wilkins, your host from My Self Reliance, and this is our open invitation to our members meeting tonight. It's a very special one because we're introducing all of our speakers and stallholders from who are going to be at the Tiny Homes Expo. And if you've had a chance to read the email this afternoon, it's really what we're all about at My Self Reliance is connecting in community and creating a circular economy. So this is the place that we're preparing ourselves to have an alternative to the system. We know that we're going to get to a space in time where if you don't want to take on being part of the digital ID system and you want to buy and sell, then you're either going to have an avenue in which you can freely do that, or you're going to feel the need, maybe coerced, into being part of a system where you need to show your ID in order to be able to buy goods or trade or do any number one of those things. So the time is coming closer and closer, faster than we think. And there is a bit of urgency in the way that we now need to prepare for the future. I think that if you've been reading the news, the signs of the times coming, the war in Iran was a little bit of a wake-up call when we had to all kind of figure out, do we have rations of petrol or do we have rations? What are we going to do there? Things got a little bit panicky for a while and then they eased up and, things looked like, looks like we're fine. There are food on the shelves and we can just relax a little bit. But I am here to say, don't use it as a signal to just be chill. Use it as a signal to prepare yourselves, get your food storage sorted, get your emergency packs organised, and figure out what you would do if things got harder suddenly. And so part of what we're doing in community is organising ourselves so that we have a trusted community which we can go to for our resources, needs, food, finances, technology, communication. All of these things play a part in how we can be more resilient and be self-reliant. And I don't recommend being self-reliant as an island on your own. I recommend that we gather in community and groups. And so tonight I've invited those people who have been working on their financial self-sufficiency with their own business to share with us what they're doing so that you know the go-to people who to reach out to and who to have in your back corner. Now, if you are part of a hub or you're a hub leader, then listen out for what is being offered tonight in case there's someone who you were like, you know what, we would love to learn more about that product, skill or service or offering. And it would be really fantastic if we had those people come and give us a little talk or a workshop or a demo or something in our area so that we can learn to be more self-reliant. So without further ado, I am going to start. I'm going to start. I know that I've kind of got a few people lined up who need to talk first because they just do. So I'm going to start with Alexa and Isaac. And as everyone shares and goes along, I want to also presence that we have Dr. Gary Wallman in the house, who will be presenting at the Tiny Homes, and he's the presentation doctor. So if you, the other thing that I'm teaching people to do is to have confidence in your speaking and your presentation style and skills so that your message can resonate with more and more people. And that's how you become a person of influence, is that you get good at sharing what you do. So if you would like feedback from Dr. Gary, who's also at the end of September doing a retreat workshop at Lily Pond's Retreat. It's a 3-day workshop where he will be helping us all to become a bit more comfortable in our own skin, in shedding some of those layers of those inhibitions that hold us back, and helping us to be more authentic and comfortable and confident in stepping up and leading. And it's one thing to be able to just talk off the cuff or share what you do, but it's another thing to be actually able to develop those more sales skills so that you become an educator and an influencer and get your message across. Okay, so without any more of me talking, I'm going to bring on Alexa and Isaac, who have been on before. We've had them as our guest speakers, talking all about natural art form and their business. And so as you're sharing what you do, guys, I've only given everyone like a short window, about 2.5, but I also want you to just share as well with us your Beyond Basics First Aid course, because we would like to bring that on. I don't know if you have time to do that before you guys head off to the US, but anyway, I'll turn the time over to you.
All right.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, so I'm from the States, obviously. I'm American, and we're prepping to go back to the States to do a bunch of things, including drum up more of our US side of our business. Kelly mentioned we do, it's called Natural Art Form, and it started with a shoulder injury that I learned to make a more advanced natural, basically a anti-inflammatory plant-based mixture that helps with mobility and recovery. That's been very powerful, and we're onboarding somebody right now to help us with that business, because it's so much going on between the US and Australia. So that's part of why we have to kind of be short tonight, because we're literally still hopefully not in the middle of our workday. Hopefully we get done within the next couple of hours, but we're kind of under the gun. But I would have loved to have stayed the whole time to hear the rest of y'all. I see some faces there that I haven't seen yet. And you mentioned the Beyond First Aid. Yeah, I think I would love to do that. We'll see if we can square up a time, maybe with like a closer hub, maybe if like Gold Coast or something, maybe that might be easier just to pop up there.
It's funny you mentioned that, Kelly, because we literally got a phone call about that today. Someone that wanted to attend that couldn't do the one that we previously organized.
Yeah, I need to give Anne a call back about that.
So yeah, we'd love to do that again. But yeah, we'll be at the Tiny Home Expo again with our stall Natural Art Form. Isaac's going to be presenting just one talk this time, one topic.
Yeah, this one will be so natural remedies for acute care, but I'm going to have a bit more information, a bit more pictures, and a little more deep dive into it. Last time I had them listed, but I realized I didn't do a great job of showing what each one looks like, and had too many on the list to cover in that time frame. So this one will be, some really useful practical information. So my background, I was trained as a SOCM medic in the Army in the US, and SOCM means it's a Special Operations Combat Medicine. And so we were trained to basically handle a multi-system trauma casualty for 3 to 5 days without any hospital intervention. So somebody that was, gunshot wound, amputation, burns, like extreme injuries, using what we could fit inside an aid bag and maybe another duffel bag. And since going through that course, I also had to go through survival training, and we learned a little bit about what Native Americans would use for medicine as far as plants go on a small scale. And I just kept that interest and built it out into stuff that I use all the time. I'm pretty active. I push myself pretty far, when I'm hiking or running or exercising. And so injuries come and go. And so I've learned to use some of them, some of these plants to help with those injuries, including burns and strains and sprains and using the physiology of the body. And one of the big things that I use, and I've done a presentation about DMSO or dimethyl sulfoxide, which is what I use in 3 of the products that I make. The muscle and joint cream, Alleviate, the more advanced version called Pro,
Right.
and then another one called Regenerate that doesn't have magnesium. These 2 use magnesium as part of it's basically a system of anti-inflammatory and things to help mobility. And then Regenerate without the magnesium is something that I use for burns, sunburn, and coming off the back, we were down in Sydney at this ultra marathon, the Reds Backyard Ultra, and I was showing them a little bit about how to use DMSO and aloe to help with blisters when you have friction and blisters or burns and blisters. The DMSO is able to alter the skin so that fluid can pass between layers, or other ingredients can pass between layers of the skin a lot more efficiently than just if you normally put it on the skin. And basically it's a natural sulfur compound from nature that is alchemized through a manufacturing process. But I find it very useful, and these things like DMSO can help amplify the effects of natural remedies, which I found necessary for an injury where normal like arnica creams and things like that weren't helping. Most of the menthol topical things, while they serve a function, they can help with capillary circulation. They don't actually help with the deeper circulation or the lymphatics, where you need to export cell debris and damaged stuff, or help with bruising when you have damaged blood vessels and red cells that need to be moved out of the body. DMSO will help in those situations where, menthol and the traditional things, pretty much 99% of even like the CBD pain relief creams, they all still use menthol in it. It's like, it's kind of the only thing that a lot of companies use.
Right,
But
so we're gonna wrap up because 2.5 minutes is up. But that's us in a nutshell. So we're really looking forward to the Tiny Homes Expo again. We absolutely love Sydney and all the people that we met, and can't wait to connect with everyone there again.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So good. We're looking forward to seeing you there. Gary, did you want to share? You got your hand up.
Just one quick comment. That was brilliant, Isaac. If we can make some time between now or just before your presentation, I would love to help you have that be even stronger, simpler, and more impactful, because you have such a powerful message. Make some time if you're open to it.
Awesome.
All right, thanks. Yeah, we'll see what we got on the schedule, but things are pretty packed. But yeah, I'd like to hear your input.
Cool bananas. Okay. We're going to go to Candace next. And Candace, I forgot to say earlier that this Saturday you have a better with butter.
Yes, everything's better
on.
with butter workshop. Yes. Yeah. So up in the Blue Mountains, up in Laura, we're running that. So we'll be learning how to make butter from scratch, doing compound butters, cultured butters, and then looking at different ways of preserving butter, so shelf-stable butter, and making ghee as well. So yes, if anyone's up in and around the mountains and would like to join us, there's still spaces available. It's wonderful to see. I've seen a bunch of new faces as well. So lovely to see you. I can't always get on a Tuesday night. Well, I guess I'll just start with, so how many of us have a cupboard full of products that we've bought because we were told that they were going to make us healthier, right? And yet somewhere along the line, we've lost either confidence in the way that we really simplify things or how we do things ourselves. Well, I'm the founder of Wild Health Hub. My name is Candace Coughlan, and I've got a background in naturopathy and herbal medicine and anything kind of food related as far as food as medicine. And for me, Wild Health Hub is about bringing practical skills back to our kitchens, to our homes, and to our communities. I've been interested in food and traditional skills and health for over 30 years. And what I've come to realize is that wellness doesn't always need to be another product that sometimes we need to just have the knowledge and the confidence to actually do something ourselves. And it might be something like learning how to ferment vegetables instead of buying a probiotic product. It might be turning some herbs that you're growing in your garden into infused oil, or making a salve. Could be making butter, preserving seasonal food, or simply just learning how food really affects our overall health and well-being, and how it is a foundation for everything else that we do. What I teach through Wild Health Hub is practical skills for health and home. And another part of that, like my self-reliance in general, is that's become really important to me is the community that's involved around it. When you bring people together around a table to make something or create something or learn something really interesting happens. People start talking. They start sharing what their grandma used to do, what works for them. And then suddenly they're not just looking at a recipe anymore. We're starting to share knowledge again. So I run hands-on workshops, community events, and do lots of different types of talks and leadership. I'm also building a living kitchen membership where we can continue to learn these skills throughout the different seasons. So not just necessarily cramming it all into one weekend, but learning simple skills that build on one another, each month. And that's going to be anything from food and fermentation to herbs, growing, preserving, and just home care and everyday wellness. And I'm not suggesting that we need to go back in time and, absolutely make everything ourselves, but really taking the best of the traditional knowledge that we have and combining it with what we know about health today and making it, really practical for modern life. I tend to sum it up in 4 words these days: less stuff, more skills, because I believe that every skill that we learn gives us that confidence in what we can do for ourselves, gives the power back to ourselves. And when we learn those skills together, we also build a strong community together as well. So that's a little bit about me.
Beautiful. And thank you, Candace. You can see why I included Candace as part of my video. If anyone's seen my video submission for the business awards, then if you haven't seen that, go check your email and there's a link to it. You can have a look at it later, or our YouTube channel. So thanks, Candace. That's awesome. Now I'm going to invite Cherie. Cherie, do you want to come on? There we are.
Hello.
Thanks, Cherie. Cherie from the Raindrop Room.
Yes, the Raindrop Room started in 2019, and it was a way to introduce essential oils and give people a really good experience with essential oils. And the problem with that was it was a massage, and in 2020 it got shut down. So I started using the oils and sharing the oils and the supplements and things that Young Living have to offer. And recently came across another company that does supplements and more targeted supplements that activate your vagus nerve and do some more targeted things than just vitamins and minerals. So all of that put together, I realized that those things are not as effective if you're not looking after the basics. So I've actually started to build and I'm nearly ready to launch. I'm actually launching on Thursday at my BNI meeting, the website, which is a little bit more than a website. It's more of a journey. It's a village online, and it takes you on this little journey that you kind of guide yourself. You can ask for guidance from me, and you press the buttons and go to different locations in the village and learn different things about how to hydrate properly and how to breathe consciously and effectively, and how to make sure that you're getting enough sleep. All of those basic things. And then we learn what whispers your body is giving you so that you can understand those and fill the gaps with different nutraceuticals, vitamins, minerals, that kind of thing. So we start with the basics. We actually, like Candace, talk about food and how to nourish yourself with the food, and then we find what's left to fill, and then we find the things that'll fill it. So this is I'm really excited to be starting this. It's called Hear the Whisper Village, and the website is hearthewhisper.fyi. You can actually go there now and have a look. It's not quite completed. There's a couple of little things that I've got to do, but it should be already up and running by Thursday. If anybody is in Sydney and would like to come and see the launch at Nexus Cafe in Baulkham Hills at 11:30 on Thursday, let me know, because it's going to be a really cute little launch of a story of Bobby going through the village and learning stuff. And so that's how my journey's actually started to change to something that is more sustainable and more self-reliant when it comes to health.
It's a launch and a luncheon, isn't it, Cherie?
Yes.
So, Cherie, have you put the link into the chat?
For
That what you were talking about, where they can go and have a look?
For the website? No, I haven't done it. I can do that.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's very exciting. Congratulations on your journey. You've yes, evolving. So we're going to go to where is Cameron? Cameron, are you ready to come on and share? Actually, while Cameron's coming on.
Sorry, I just had
you're
to
there. You're
flip
good.
them on.
Okay.
And everybody.
I'll add you. There we are. Cameron's on the road.
I'm in my rooftop tent. Hi, I'm Cameron from Orgonite Creations Australia. I basically started into Orgonite and Tensor Tools approximately about 2017. I got into the space because I became an insomniac after being an ex-Telstra employee, and basically became an insomniac for the period of 2016 to 2017. A friend of mine showed me the technology and suggested, it might help with my sleep. And at that point, I'm thinking, this seems rather strange. I don't understand it. I'm going to prove you wrong. And I made a couple of small pyramids with the design specs that he gave me and put them on either side of my bedside table, and started fixing my sleep. So come 2020, I was gardening and things like that, and I lost some of the contracts that I had for nursing homes and got shunted into a completely different sort of direction with what I'm doing. And it started becoming more specific with what I was doing as a hobby in the form of Orgonite and things like Tensor Tools before that. And here we are 6 years later and still going. Basically,
Beautiful.
they're little resin pyramids with metal shavings and crystals and a few different types of coils inside of them that help clean up all of the EMF that we generate from our phones, the cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, that kind of stuff.
And Cameron, what are you going to share with everybody in your talk?
Basically, some of the history, my own personal experiences with the devices, and other anecdotal bits from my clientele over the years. And yeah, basically just go through how they work and some of the backlog as to how they came about in the first place.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to that because the Orgonite, the EMF protection, that is just the uh, busiest trade at the moment. Everyone wants that space. So I've had lots of people say, I want to be the pencil ring guy. So so anyway, we're glad to have you. And there are, who can I? Okay, we're going to hear from some other people tonight who are also similar space, similar and different. So that's good. Let's go to Zelia. Did I say that right?
You did. Hi everyone, my name is Zelia, and I also have Leanne and Sharon on with me. We're Norwex consultants. So Norwex specialize in antibacterial, microfiber cleaning and personal care products. And really what that means is we're really passionate about teaching people to radically reduce the amount of chemicals that they're using in their homes, plastic as well. There's so many products in the stores, and we think that well, maybe not you guys, because I think you're more aware than the average person, but people think because they're on the grocery aisle, on the aisles in the grocery stores, that it's safe for us to use, and they simply are not. So many chemicals have never been tested for their long-term effect on our health. So I love the fact that with Norwex, we know that there's only safe ingredients in our products. It's very sustainable. I've been a consultant for 17 years and I still have some of my original cloths and they still work. So it saves you so much money. And of course, you don't have to keep on replacing products. Even our consumable products, they last a really long time. With majority of them, you use a teaspoon. So not like the grocery store products that you're going to use a whole scoop. You only use a teaspoon. But all our products are safe to use. They're septic safe as well. So I love the fact that my kids grew up not exposed to chemicals. We can't stop getting cancer and diseases like that, but we can do our best to eliminate those things that we know can have a big impact on our health. So that's what we are and what we're all about, and we would love to tell you more at the Tiny Home Show.
Wonderful. And Leanne, I'm just going to add you to the pin as well so we can meet you. Welcome. Now, what days will you be at the Tiny Homes, Leanne?
I'll be there all 3 days.
Oh,
Zelia
wonderful.
is Friday and Sunday, and Sharon is Saturday with me.
Oh, fantastic. Lovely. Good, Sharon. And let's add you there as well. There's our trio. We are so glad to have you all there and sharing that space. And it's good for us all to get acquainted now so that we can feel like we're all family when we get there. So thank you, ladies. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go to Lynn next.
Oh my goodness.
Where's lovely Lynn?
I'm here.
There you are. I'll
Is
add
there only
you.
one Lynn? This is the Lynn you're after?
Here we are. Hi, Lynn.
Hi. My goodness, I'm not a speaker like these other people. Well done, everyone. I'm the colloidal silver girl. I also do tensor rings and soil microbes. Unfortunately, Kelly, I don't know whether you got the message. I'm not going to be there. But I wanted to come on tonight anyway to check out what everyone's up to. You all sound absolutely fabulous. So I would like to be a part of it at some stage down the track. So colloidal silver, the original antibiotic, antimicrobial, antifungal, antibacterial, seems to be making a good comeback. Sort of under the pump a bit from the TGA. They like to pick on it. So, legally I'm not allowed to say anything at all. I also make a gel, which is 1,000+ parts per million. There's only one other person in Australia making that strength. So it's super strong for everything external, cuts, bites, wounds, nappy rash, toe fungus, acne. I'm also developing I don't know what I'm going to call it, but an upgrade with DMSO, and I'm currently testing that. I've got people who have been limping around with arthritis for years, no longer limping and begging for it. It's clearing up really, really bad psoriasis where people have tried everything and have had no success. So that's looking really promising. Yeah, and the tensor rings, I have a large range of those, everything from a half cubit up to a 4 cubit, and that means everything from like that size to doesn't fit on the screen size. AccuVax, little healing tools, harmonizers that form into a toroidal field, EMF protection for your phone. And pendants that you can wear that have a little Lakowski coil in them, which is technically known as a multi-wave oscillator, which doesn't mean jack crap to most people, but it's putting out multiple frequencies that counteract all the negative radiation from your phones and the towers. And when that combines with the tensor ring, all the energy people out there that are sensitive, which I'm not overly sensitive, so that it's forming like a ball. I thought it would be a toroidal field, but the combination forms into a ball of energy that is protective. Yeah, so tensor rings, Lakowskis, AccuVax, and feedback loops. So feedback loops, just an AccuVac folded in half. And unfortunately, I don't have any here to show you. But a lot of what I do is education. It's becoming less or a lot easier as people, I'm finding over the last year, probably, more and more people are becoming aware of colloidal silver and tensor rings, which is fabulous. It saves me a lot of breath work. But it's also promising that people are actually discovering this stuff. And I'm hearing, they don't want to see a doctor. I've tried everything, not going there, not doing that. They're all looking for remedies outside the system. Yeah.
100%, Lynn. That's definitely the way we're going. And did I hear you say that you are coming to the Queensland tiny homes? No, you can. No, I got your message, but I said no, you should come anyway. But we are having the tiny homes Coffs Harbour next month in September. So
that will probably be a go. Yeah. Because
perfect.
after I sent you that email, I made other arrangements. And this morning I was dashing out the door and just said, I'd like to be on the call, suss everyone out, so see what you're all up to. It all sounds absolutely fabulous, but no, I'm unavailable. I just can't.
That's all right. And plus, Coffs Harbour is probably a little bit more closer to home for you anyway. But and you're on the Northern Rivers there, aren't you?
Yeah.
You kind of have a bit between both. You could right in the middle.
Yeah. Coffs is cool. It's my birthplace. It'd be nice to revisit it.
Perfect. Well, and that's an announcement for anyone else looking or watching the replay and thinking, oh, I'd like to get to a tiny homes. Well, Coffs Harbour is the 18th to the 20th of September. So anyone who wants to come. Okay, we're going to come to Marissa. And Marissa is a speaker at the tiny homes. And I had to search out Marissa specifically for our event because I wanted someone who could talk to our emergency prep, so our 72-hour packs and our miler bag food storage. And what a blessing, I've come across Marcia. I keep saying it wrong. Marcia, sorry about that, darling.
That's okay. I'm just saying to my husband, is that me?
I'll edit that bit out. So
Oh dear.
thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for asking me. I've not done this before, so I've been interested to see what everybody's doing. As you know from what Kelly just said, I'll be talking as opposed to trying to sell things or whatever. I guess a little bit about myself, in as much as I'm a mother of 6 children and I have always done food storage and things like that pretty much all my life because of how I was brought up with my mum coming from England from the war era and not having food. It's always been something that has been uppermost in our minds. So along with that comes the 72-hour kits that governments even promote for you to do. So I guess I'm going to be talking about what I term as the 3 types of kits, which is the emergency survival kit or to-go kit, and a little bit about bug out bags, which is a little bit more of a involved scenario, and also to have a 72-hour kit in your car in case you get cut off from home and you're unable to get back to your car to be able to get those kits that you've already done. Obviously, we will talk about what you need to put in there. And I mean, all this sort of stuff actually is determined by your needs as an individual and your likes. We also have to remind ourselves that it's a survival kit. It's not actually a comfort gourmet kit. And also, we need to be aware of who's actually carrying the kits. So if it's a case of it's an adult, obviously they can carry more than a child. And if it's somebody who's disabled, won't perhaps be able to carry as much as an able-bodied person. So they're the sorts of things that we need to talk about, and how to use the things that are in our kits. There's no point in having all these wonderful things in our kit and not actually be able to use them. So that's a kind of really what I'll cover in that time, and also the importance of having documents, copies of documents and things like that in your kit. Now, they can be as big and elaborate as you like or as small and simple as you like, but remember, you have to move them if you don't have transport. Okay, the other thing I was asked to talk about was, and I'm assuming, Kelly, it's just about, is it just about Myla bags? Is that what you want me to talk about with long-term storage?
Long-term food storage, yes. And one of the things that we'll be doing on the weekend is, of course, we're inviting people to join us in the My Self-Reliance community. And anyone who signs up as a member of the weekend receives a Myla bag foods storage starter kit. So if people know what they are and can learn how to use them, that's the idea.
Okay, that's fair enough then. Because I wasn't sure if you wanted other long-term storage ideas. That was also okay. So with the dry pack ideas, we'll be talking about the kind of approved products, because not everything can go into a Myla bag. Things that are high in fat, it's not recommended that they do. And if you do, when I'm talking there, I'm talking nuts, even sometimes eggs, because that has a high fat content. I personally store stuff in Myla bags that are eggs, but I don't think that they're going to be there for 20 years like they say they can be. I actually only use them for a few years. Okay. So we'll talk about that, what's approved for that. Also, we'll talk a little bit about how they work, because they always have to have oxygen absorbers in them unless it's sugar or something like that, which will come. And we will also talk a little bit about probably how much you need and how many oxygen absorbers you need per the size of the litre bag. And in that, I will also cover the fact that you can, if you're trying to save money, use plastic peat bottles, peat number 1 or peat number 2. And on the bottom of your bottle, there's a little triangular symbol with a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4. And if you have 1 or a 2, you're able to use recycle those bottles and store things in them with the oxygen absorbers. So that is another way that we can all store our long-term storage, the beans and the wheat and the rice and that sort of stuff, with when we're on a bit of a budget. Okay. I don't know if you want to know anything else, because that's kind of
Pardon me.
basically it, with me, prattling on about all the different things and how to actually use it. The different ways to
Marcy,
store
while I
it.
have you then, what is your other, if it's not Myla bags, what else is your other favorite long-term food storage process?
Well, when we talk long term, I feel like we're talking um, over, for probably 2 or 3 years past that. So
Mm,
the other thing I use is, besides the Myla bags, is I actually just put them into containers, big screw lid top containers that are
hmm
plastic with, sometimes they're the metal Frytol tins from fish and chip shops. I clean all the grease out of those, and they are great to just fill up with wheat and put in a little candle nub, light it, put the lid on, and it burns up the oxygen and it seals because it's a clamp lid. So that
Fantastic.
was another thing that I use a lot of.
Fantastic. I
Yeah.
love
I mean,
that.
I do preserve food in as much as I bottle, and I do, pressure canning, and I do water bathing, and I do freeze drying. I've got 8 dozen eggs in the freeze dryer as we speak. Um, yeah, do dehydration. Besides the pickling, I'm not a fermenter, I have to admit. I'm not into the fermenting thing, and I make lousy sourdough bread, but I can make good ordinary bread. Yeah. So that's kind of where my expertise lies.
Fantastic. And a little bit more about you, Marcia, is you're from Gympie,
That's true. Yes.
and there's a whole community in Gympie who do you get together with the other ladies and
Yes.
discuss these emergency prep plans and things?
Yes. And we been teaching each other skills that we didn't have. Just recently, we learned to make soap, and we're going to be doing a few other things. I think we're going to be learning to do some bricklaying to make our own cob ovens, is our next project for baking.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So there's only a few of us, but we're going strong.
Going strong. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I know there's plenty of us who are looking at what you guys are doing and wanting to be a part of it. Because, in Australia, we're a long way behind in terms of where America is at with homesteading and so I love that you ladies have been doing it for generations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've taught a lot of them how to, do the pressure canning. And now they're sort of, now that I've got a freeze dryer, they're all excited to be able to use my freeze dryer, because they're expensive little items. But they're a very good item to have if anybody's interested.
Wonderful. Wonderful. That's very exciting. Thank you so much. And is there, Yolanta, are you able to, I know she's kind of off grid and tried very hard to get on tonight. So I don't know if we can get her on. Yolanta, are you there? Can you come off mute? Okay. So if we've been through all of our presenters, except for Dr. Gary, we're going to bring him on, and then we're going to swing back around to our hub leaders and have them share about what's going on in their hubs, because we want to hear what the latest is. So I haven't been able to see Yolanta. Okay, so Dr. Gary, I'm going to add you.
Beautiful. Can you all hear me? If you can hear me, do something with your body so I know you're listening. I'm a body person, and the focus I'm going to be presenting for the tiny homes is the subject's called Tiny Homes, Big Lives, Building the Home Within. So I'm not going to focus on what kind of home or who to speak with. I'm more interested in people asking themselves, am I ready to be the person that can live in this tiny home with more spaciousness, with more freedom and the challenges? So I'm going to be taking people on a journey. And I'm opening up now this link. Everybody can see this. Open that up. This is the journey that I'm taking them on, at least the one that I'm so far have been creating. Can you see that? The 9 squares, everybody?
Not yet. No, you added it to the chat group, I think.
Oh, can you? How do I do this
Did you
online?
hit share?
Share. Okay.
There it is.
Yeah.
It's coming now.
Can you see that?
It's loaded up now.
Beautiful. So this is a bit of a journey that I'll be taking people on. That is tiny homes, big lives. And it's really about, rather than looking for the right people to connect with to build the right home, I'm more going to help people turn inwards to find out not so much what more can I buy, what do I really need, what do I resonate with, what really matters. So before downsizing, I'm asking people to upsize who they can become to be in this tiny home to create a more spacious life. That's the essence, and it'll be a bit engaging and interactive. So much for that share. I'd rather just talk with you without a visual aid in between. And then on the other hand, this is on this hand over here, Kelly, what you've also made possible for me to do is with all of you presenting, and I've been taking notes on everyone. My goodness, everyone, including me, we can always reach the next level. I'd love to have the opportunity between now and when it gets busy there to Zoom with you. I'll put the link in the chat as well. And that would be a complimentary, taking it and making it a bit more concise with clearer examples and showing what you're telling in a way that perhaps will increase people's listening, if you can hear what I'm saying, make it more multisensory. So this is what I have to give to this community, and I'm really grateful to have that opportunity to make a difference with you and get to know you. Who's going to be there next week in Brisbane?
And then, Gary, if you can share a little bit more about what people can expect at the Voice to Vision Leadership Retreat.
Sure. Yeah, I can do that. I love being put on the spot, Kelly. So I'll just...
You know it inside out. You can do it.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll speak from my heart. It is something that has come out of meeting you at a Love Fest presentation I was giving. You were in the workshop, and there was something very powerful that happened, in particular, in working with you. But I won't necessarily give the detail of what happened because I want to respect your privacy. I'll say, and stop me if I say too much, that you were saying that you'd like to improve your relationship with certain people, and one of them happened to be in the room, and my God, we did a beautiful psychodrama and playback theater and Monty Python exaggeration of what was not working, and then using different tools. You were in tears, and everyone was so moved that everyone you wanted to speak with, who were represented by others in the room, made a huge shift. So I'm going to be taking those similar examples, turning walls into bridges, things that have been holding you back, what incident happened in the past that we can do a role play and do something that will just break you free from it instead of the old scenario. So it's going to be a weekend of stepping into leadership, into your body, doing a lot of... Do you like Monty Python? I do. To make it exaggerate your worst fears. So I see some shit-faced grins here. That's nice, Marcia. People are going to be breaking free while crying and laughing and singing and dancing. I make it into a theatrical experience, and everyone becomes a better speaker, recognizing your self-talk, getting into the zone, how to move on stage, being authentic with your gestures, your vocal sounds, and your verbal words. Have I made clear what we're doing over 3 days? It's going to be an adventure. Each portion is going to build on the one before. So you'll break free, something has shifted, then you will take that self-talk into making a presentation, and it'll be very powerful, very magical. Did that make sense?
It does make sense. And for a lot of people, that sounds absolutely frightening.
Well, the good news is because I, as you can see from what I'm wearing, a colorful character and court jester, I am here not just to train or entertain, but to absolutely delight and have you be having so much fun turning it into a game that the worst fears seem like, oh my God, I went through that skid and it was so much fun. You made it so much fun. I'll make it lots of fun. I promise you that.
Yes, Gary can promise you that. And really, you know, if the hardest thing that people can do, or the most scary thing, is public speaking, then when we can overcome some of those challenges and have fun, being our, letting our vulnerabilities show and letting our guard down, then you can conquer a lot of things when you get through those. So that's really what we're about. One of my purposes for putting this on with you all is to bring out leaders in our community.
May I share one short example here? It came to mind, and it was a very telling example. For those of you here who has been involved in any conscious dance or movement practices like 5 rhythms, a lot of different dance forms, there was a man who was a teacher of that was in a workshop of mine in Hawaii, and he was saying, as many of us do, that he sometimes forgets what to say. We all do from time to time. And when it came his turn in front of, it was an international community of movement specialists and teachers, he said in front of everyone witnessing him, the reason I'm saying this to you now is because sometimes we need to show this vulnerability. He said, look, it's not just that I forget what I'm going to say. I grew up, he said, in New York, and I was always attacked and bullied when I was growing up as a teenager. And then he started to cry. And when I stand in front of audiences, he was really crying. I'm afraid that people are going to attack me. And it was so beautiful to see his authenticity. One person after another came up and said, you're the kind of teacher I want to work with. You show the feelings that I've been keeping to myself, and you're someone I can trust. And that's the kind of stuff that happens. To piggyback on what you're saying, Kelly, it's not just playful, it's also, deeply moving, and I make it safe for you. So I had to share that example. I think if you can relate to that, raise one of your hands or your eyebrows or something. Yeah, I can see you.
So good. So good. Okay, so thank you so much, Dr. Gary. We appreciate you so much.
Pleasure.
All right. So if you also want to get some feedback and just hone your presentation, or tweak it, if that's, Dr. Gary is the person to speak to, and he will help you with that. Okay. I want to come around. We've got Craig in the room. He's also from Queensland and runs communities there. But I want to give Joyce and Chris some time now to share how the first inaugural meeting went. Inaugural, first, same thing. Where are you, Chris? And there you are. Let me bring you on. And Joyce. Joyce hasn't got a camera on. Joyce, are you there? Because you had an amazing day, and I just wanted to give you some time to share.
Yeah, our first meeting, we had 2 meet and greets, one in the city and one down south. We had about 25 people come to the southern one, and about 10 in the Perth meeting. It was quite positive. Met a lot of new people. Yeah, what can I say? I'm still buzzing now from it. It was
and
great.
What plans? Oh, Joyce is driving, so we won't bring her on. But
no, you can now. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm just not in a very good reception zone, so I'm just picking up my kid.
No problem.
But yeah, Chris knows everything anyway, so I'll let him do the talking.
Okay. Chris, what plans did you start to talk about for the future?
Basically, we set out the 8 pillars And
Yep.
we got people to jot down what they were missing in the 8 pillars and what they could contribute. We talked about having a next or a monthly or even a fortnightly meet and greet. So yeah, we met people that could produce food, clean meat, yeah, electricians, yeah, all types of trades. So it was quite positive.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's excellent. Well, you guys will be just like Marcia's group in no time. That's awesome. Well, we want to welcome and invite them all to join us on our Tuesday night chats. This is where we extend the conversations and give support to all of our new members in what they want to accomplish. So thanks so much, Chris. Well done, Joyce. Okay. I want to swing around to Myola. Myola, do you want to share with everybody a little bit about our get together at Lily Ponds?
Yeah, a couple of Saturdays ago, we had our, I think it's our first, I want to say first Mid-North Coast meetings, but certainly the first meeting at Lily Ponds at Kelly's place. And it was really lovely. There was people from Sydney, there was people from Taree, there was people who had come from the Central Coast and over Madawi. It was really lovely. We got to have a barbecue lunch. We got to hang out. The kids come. I took my granddaughter with me, so it was a really fun, family orientated event. It was beautiful. Yeah, I had a really long time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Did you want something different? Did you?
No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Lovely. So I think everyone's been able to share now. And does anyone have any questions before we wrap up? Oh, Marie, you're here. Marie, I'll come to you and you can share. Marie's speaking at the Tiny Homes event. So let me bring you on, Marie. Welcome. There you are. You can come off mute. There you are.
Hi, Kelly. How you going?
Good to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a bit of a hectic day. So I just jumped on now before heading down the highway. And yeah, so I'm sorry I missed everyone's 2.5 minutes. I really wanted to hear them. So maybe I'll be able to listen to the recording and can hear those before we get to Brisbane, which is exciting. So looking forward to that. So yeah, I prepared a couple of minutes little introduction, and surprisingly, I don't have a book here with me, but
I do. I'll show mine. I'll show mine.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think I just had a bit much in my bag today. So basically, we wrote the book under the Educare Trust. Thanks, Kel, which is a group of, well, there were a number of people who contributed in reviewing the book, but I'll just start with the very simple idea that it came from, which is that the more we started to understand how the systems around us worked, the better equipped I felt that we were to make informed decisions for ourselves and our families and our communities. And over the last few years, I really found myself constantly researching different issues like government decisions, especially around the big C, legislation, our constitution, health, food, privacy, digital systems, property and personal freedoms. And I realised how difficult it can be for the average ordinary person to find clear, understandable information in one place. And especially as we haven't sort of gone much into the Constitution, probably since most of us were in year 5. So with there being so much information out there, and it's often scattered across various government websites and legislation and reports and media articles and specialist organisations, that unless you have a reason to go looking for it, most of us simply just don't have the time to piece all the information together, which is why Educare Life was sort of born. And well, firstly, the Educare Trust, which started to develop the idea of putting a book together for these things. So the idea was really not to tell people what to think, but to help people understand how things work and what is happening, what changes are being proposed, which we all know that us like-minded people know that there are a lot of things being proposed that we're not all that happy about and that we'd like to do something about. And so it offers, you know, we thought we need to explain where we can find more information and so that people can find that for themselves and become more knowledgeable on this. And of course, that's all part of being self-reliant, which fits in perfectly with my self-reliance. So it's not about doing everything alone, but it means having the knowledge and confidence and practical understanding to make informed decisions and ask good questions and find reliable information and take greater responsibility for the things that can influence our lives right now. And so that's that's how the Educare Trust came about. So we wrote the book, and I really put it under a trust, because a lot of people have said, oh, why isn't your name on it? And I just felt like sometimes it's better to have a group on there rather than an individual. It's a lot harder to attack a group. So helping people become informed and capable and resilient rather than feeling that everything has to be understood and decided for them is what led to a guide for sovereignty. And I guess, like many of you here, when you use the word sovereignty, you know, of course, we know that I'm not talking about the sovereign citizen movement, although they have their own direction that they're taking, and that is not what this book is about. And it's not about separating ourselves from government. It's much more practical than that. To me, sovereignty is about understanding our rights and responsibilities and how our constitution and governments work, and being informed enough to participate in decisions that affect our lives. So the book brings together all that information from government, health, water, food, digital privacy, finances, property, family and community, and provides like over 600 references so that people can go back into the original material and investigate it further, or, you know, give it to people who are not quite there where we are yet and just want all of that evidence and referencing where they can find that information. So I wanted to, you know, basically collate something that people could read today, keep on the bookshelf, you know, come back to when an issue rises, or use as a starting point for their own research. And ultimately, from that is Educare Life, which is the incorporated association that exists that basically holds the book, and that's about education rather than fear, just like my self-reliance, and participation rather than division, and self-reliance rather than dependence. And so we're encouraging people to be curious and informed and involved. And the philosophy behind it all, I've come to now describe it as sovereignty is love in action, because it's the love for your country. And by loving it, you're wanting to know what's going on with it and how you can make a difference for your future generations. So that also, of course, includes love for your family, your community, and for yourself. So because we care about something, we take the time to understand it and what we can do to protect it and preserve it for the generations to follow. And so that's where a guide to sovereignty comes in and helps people do so. So that's basically what the book is about, and I'll be taking it up to Brisbane, and I'll actually be stopping along the way, doing a bit of a road trip and stopping at some places and meeting up with some fellow like-minded people and sharing that with them along the way, and sharing our Tiny Homes Expo material so that people who might be visiting Brisbane will come and say hello to us. So yeah, that's
perfect. Thanks, Marie. And you know what's just occurred to me just now as you've been talking, because it is such a great reference book, then, as we're looking for experts in the areas of food and technology and communication, this is the great place that we can go to and go, I need a speaker. I need someone who can educate me on that area. And because you've got a lot of those great references in there. So I haven't been using it properly. Now I know how to do it.
Yeah. The table of contents is the best place to start, because it's basically broken up into 4 parts. And part 1 takes up the first half of the book because that's what's been going on. And then part 2 is what's coming, what's proposed to be coming. And then part 3 is pathways of sovereignty, different pathways that we know about. And it sort of fits with the work of, is it Corinne? I didn't hear her speak, but I saw someone on your list at Warrior at Law or
Claudine.
Claudine. Yes, I'm looking forward to meeting Claudine and talking about that. But that part 3 talks about some of those areas. And then part 4 is ways that you can actually put this into practice in food and water and nutrition and digital finances, etc. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Now, I'm glad you referenced that because Claudine will be speaking, and we're also going to have an edible weeds talk as well on the Friday and Saturday. So yeah, lots of great topics that we've got covered. And I also thought what would be smart is sometimes I go to different events and I take the book with me, and I have sold a book here and there. And what would be smart is that when I visit our hub leaders, if each of our hub leaders has a couple of books on them and that they can take to their events as well, would be really clever to do as well. And that way we can share it out and get it out there into more hands.
Yeah, and that helps them with their fundraising because, they're paying for materials that they need to run their hub meetings and everything. So it's a way to help them raise some funds. So I just sell it to them like I would a bookshop or, yeah.
Perfect.
So get it out for everyone to share in it.
Excellent. Now, I just wanted to come around to and I apologize. Barbara was on tonight, and I just understood now as Joyce was mentioning that Barbara was one of the people, and Jacqueline as well, who managed the North Side meetup. So I want to thank those 2 ladies for doing that. And last but not least, I just want to invite Craig, who's from Queensland, who runs his own community up there. So welcome, Craig. I want to give you a chance to get to know you, let everyone get to know you as well, because you are doing some really marvelous things in the area of self-reliance and in your area. Do you want to tell us about what's happening?
Yes, thanks, Kelly. Hi, everyone. Yes. Basically, for about the last 6 months, myself and a few other people, we've built a community here in the Sanford Valley, Queensland area, just outside of Brisbane, for those who are not from this area. And one of the points I want to bring up and just focus on here is that listening to everyone tonight and coming from different communities, we come under different banners or different titles of our community. For instance, around the Brisbane area here, we've got a Moreton Bay Safe Community, it's called. We've got one at Boona Self-Reliant Community. There's Mango Pivot down at Beenleigh. We've got one at Logan Reserve, south of Brisbane. Tazza, you may have heard of Tazza. They've got different groups around Australia, and you've got My Place and so forth. So what I want to bring home tonight is aligning and participating and being aligned with all the different communities. It doesn't matter what banner you're under, and what title or so forth, but I feel to have more strength, we need to come together and align. So how does that work? How does an alignment work? I've created a MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, of how that can work. And I may have even sent that to you, Kelly. I'm not sure. It outlines how an alignment can work. And we also have another tool called Local Buddy. It's an online secure hub, which gives you all the tools to manage your local community. And if there are a dozen communities using this Local Buddy, you can go in and you can set the settings to private or community only, and then your local community members are the only ones can see that. But if you set it to public, then a community from Sydney or wherever, the other communities that I mentioned here under different banners, that they will be able to see what your community is doing, and then they'll be able to see what your community is doing. So when it's public, it means that's what it means. It doesn't mean there's the general public, because it's a safe and secure hub. And that's another way we can align and work together and bring strengths to each other and share knowledge and skills and so forth, not only in our local community, but the larger network. So, yeah, I just want to bring home that point. And I think that I'm working on that as one of my main focuses, other than the building the local community. And once we've built that to a high level and strength, which is getting every day more and more. And so, yeah, I don't know, any other, do you want me to share anything else, what we're doing personally, or is that enough for now? And yeah.
Some of the projects you're up to.
Some of the projects, so within the community ourselves, we've just launched a co-op, a cooperative, where I think most people know what that is. We come together as a group and we create a bulk buying power, and we buy at an organic place, and we get the produce at a good price, because we can buy it in big bags, and then we divide it up into individual orders. And that's fruit and veg, and we're doing dry goods as well. So that's happening, that's kicked off, that's going well. And what else? We're looking, I know Kelly did a presentation, or Mylan was his name, about offline communications and emergency. So we're looking to set one of them up as well. And we're doing the objective, and I think you all agree with this, the objective is to be able to function and work outside the existing system. So in case that system goes pear-shaped, then we can not only survive, we can thrive. And how we can really thrive is what I was talking about before, with aligning with all the other communities. And we are doing a transport arrangement where we can transport between communities and so forth. And to be able to function and run that transport, if the system goes a little bit pear-shaped again, and as you know, the recent petrol or diesel issues, mainly, that prices went high and so forth, and that's okay. Most people were able to continue to keep that happening, but what happens if you can't get fuel at all? So I'm sure you've heard the saying, if the trucks stop in Australia, if the trucks stop, everything stops. You just you can't get food, can't get anything. So we have a network of our own biofuel diesel that's stationed basically around Australia. And the idea is, if their system goes pear-shaped, we can continue to trade and continue to transport. So, that's a couple of little projects and events that's going on. So it's exciting stuff. But back to just that point again, it doesn't matter. What banner you come under, MSR, My Place. Yeah, we want to align with everyone that's like-minded. Yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly what we want to. And so on the Friday night, Craig, I don't know if you heard me say that we want to have a get together.
Yes.
And it's called, I think, can anyone remember, Erica sent it through, what'd you call it? The South, what was it?
It was
What do you mean?
Club.
South Club?
No, Club.
Oh, the name of the place out at Redlands, where you
are. It's closer to south of Garden City.
Yes.
Club Southside.
Club Southside.
Club Southside.
It's in the
Yes.
Oh,
chat.
that's where you're going to meet, because
Yes.
the tiny homes.
We're not going to do it at the tiny homes, just in case there's people who want to, because that's all the way out at Cleveland. But if
That's
people
right.
just want to get together for dinner and don't want to have to go to tiny homes first, we thought we'd make it a bit more central.
Yes. That's a good idea, because most Brisbaneites think Cleveland, that's their own. They're way down,
Correct.
they go to Cleveland, that's too far. So,
Yes.
yeah, okay, cool.
So Club Southside at 5:30 on Friday the 28th.
Okay.
Brilliant. Well, I think everyone has had a chance to feel represented, and if not, how to say. Anyone else did I miss who wants to share? Okay. Well, thank you, Craig, for wrapping it up with all the communities that you know, and we want to really connect, and any other communities that are listening in, if you're wherever you are, connect with us, because we want to link arms, and as Craig said, that's how we become stronger.
Yep.
So wonderful. Well, thanks everyone, and we will see you next Tuesday. We're going to wrap up our segment on technology and communication for our last Tuesday in August is next Tuesday, because after that we will be on the road preparing for the tiny home. So we won't be on, I think it's the week of the 25th, the 24th, 6th, 25th, I think. So we won't be on that night, but next week we'll have our last speaker of the month to share with us about technology and communication. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. We can't wait to see you at the tiny homes in Brisbane. If you've heard anybody say anything that you want to know more, feel free to reach out to them and find them in their Telegram group, and make sure that you're on the newsletter. You're getting the newsletter from me. Reach out to me at team@myselfreliance.com.au if you are not seeing your newsletter come in. All right. Love you long time. We'll see you all next week.